This is my most expensive unboxing ever, because in front of us right now are 12 super limited edition smartphones, starting at $700, going all the way up to almost $170,000. So surreal to say. But even at the lowly $700, you can still get something pretty special. So you might have heard of the Oppo Reno 4 Pro. It's a pretty standard upper mid-range phone, but for the limited edition, Oppo partnered with Pantone, who are like the color company, to create a green glitter version. And providing you like the color, you really have to like this color, I think the packaging is beautiful. It's lightly textured on the outside, but also this whole glowing green theme they've got going on, it's everywhere. It's in every insert, it's on this rather unusual case you get inside, it's on the USB-C cable. The earphones, they catch light in a really mystical way, even the charger. On the front it has the Pantone branding, and on the back, green glitter.
A great success!
As for the phone itself, there is a lot going on. It's kind of amazing, this silky matte finish, paired with all these little green flourishes, the buttons, the text. They've even changed the colour of the side rails, the antenna bands, and the inside of the USB-C port, just to fit the theme. Only thing is, that's a lot of text. I think in the pursuit of trying to make something that feels limited and special, Oppo's kind of left elegance and subtlety at the doorstep. But this was Oppo in 2020, and I would argue that it's taken them till this year to finally nail this concept of experimental colour. So, this is the rather elegantly named Oppo Reno 5 Pro Plus 5G Artist Limited Edition. I feel like at that stage, why not just call it Reno 5 Max and be done with it? But this phone changes colour. The packaging is immediately striking. I feel like with limited editions, the default option is to go down the route of luxury, but this one's just more quirky. It doesn't come with any gold-plated accessories or super high-end materials, but the visual design here is so unique. That's what makes Oppo's limited editions so fun. Like, it really looks like they've just handed their phone to an artist and said, "You want to paint something on it? Knock yourself out." And here's the magic. Thanks to electrochromic glass, which uses energy to change the physical arrangement of the molecules, with just 2 taps on the back, we can shift color. That's so cool. Like, could you imagine a few years down the line being able to just swipe on your phone and cycle through till you get the exact finish you want? It does make you wonder what a $170,000 phone is going to look like though. Now, for $50 more than that, is a phone that means business. You might have heard of Red Magic. They make high-end gaming phones that don't cost a leg. I've got their latest Red Magic 6 here, which is their 2021 offering with all the bells and whistles like world's smoothest 165Hz display and 7 separate cooling mechanisms all meshed together. But for the purposes of this video, the one that we're actually interested in is a special edition version of their last phone, the Red Magic 5G. And what makes this noteworthy is that this is a transparent phone. We've seen transparent phones before. They often use these kind of fake components just beneath the glass because, well, the real components don't look that great. But the one difference here is that this phone has a fully working fan. So, this is a fog machine. It's fully loaded up with fog juice. So, if we turn that on, you should be able to see how the air is coming in, being used to cool the internals, and then getting pushed out on the other side. You could say it's red magic. I'll let myself out. The effort is definitely here. The software is heavily customized, the keyboard feels like it's from an alien planet, they've even created a wallpaper that allows you to see the fan in action on the front too. A bit tacky in my opinion, but I appreciate the effort. Okay, picture this. It's 2016. Samsung's announced the Galaxy S7 Edge. It's high-end, it's got these new exciting curved edges, it's regarded by most as the best smartphone the world has ever seen. And then they one-up themselves again by launching the Injustice edition of that phone. I wanted this thing so badly, so the fact that I finally managed to get one is kind of surreal. Sadly it isn't sealed, but it was as close as I could get. The first thing you see is an enormous bat signal logo. Proper metal job this. There's a thick Batman case, we've got the phone, which I'll get to in a sec, and a Gear VR headset. At the time, this thing was Samsung's vision of the future, but it just never quite took off. VR is expensive, it's kind of an isolating experience. And I guess just the idea of sticking one of these on in public, like Samsung was promoting, just felt a bit awkward to people. On one hand, I'm looking at this thing thinking, what a phone, this is so cool, and just marveling at all the little Easter eggs hidden in the software, but the other part of me is thinking, this feels so old. And even though I can distinctly remember the feeling of looking at this like it was the pinnacle of cutting edge, I can't help but look at it now through my 2021 lens, just like it belongs in a museum somewhere. But that's just the beauty of how fast things are moving. It's pretty exciting. But on the subject of Samsung, they've started doing something pretty clever recently. So you know how you can buy a Samsung phone almost anywhere, right? A Walmart, a Flipkart, a Tesco. That's intentional. It means that Samsung has the best possible reach. However, in Samsung's ideal world, all the customers who could would actually buy direct from them. Because that way they can charge the same price, but not have to pay all these retailers a second extra cut. So, Samsung have started encouraging that in a not so subtle way by giving free bonuses like earphones and Google Play credit, and now also exclusive limited edition color variants. They take at least 2 weeks to deliver because they are made to order. And for the S21 Plus this year, they've designed a color variant that when I saw for the first time I was like, we've got to get this on the channel. Because I love it, I've showed it to 2 other people, they hate it, so I want to know what you think. The box is identical to the other normal variants. This isn't like some super high effort luxury edition, but look at this. They call it Phantom Red, and it's pretty much everything I want in a phone finish. It's jazzy and fun, without looking excessive. The matte texture is grippy, and also keeps itself clean. There's no flexing at all in the body, and they still managed to get that complex light refraction that gives it an extra aesthetic layer. Also, this feels like a weird thing to say, but this is one of my favorite phones ever from a bezel perspective, because it's still one of the only devices on the market where the screen feels like it's evenly stretched around the canvas of the phone. So there's no weird jutting corners or thick chins, it's just pleasant design. Okay, moving up the price meter, I think they've done something even more interesting with the exclusive version of their S21 Ultra. You've probably seen a fair bit of this black one, maybe also the silver too, because these were the ones sent to reviewers. But as a consumer, if you go through Samsung's own store, you can find something called Phantom Brown, which, I mean, I don't think the words phantom and brown belong in the same sentence, but the end result is a phone unlike anything I've ever seen before. See, on one hand, it's just brown. It's not one of those super vibrant colors that you usually associate with wowing people, but when was the last time you saw a brown phone? And I actually think this soft phantom glow, paired with the carbon fiber themed camera setup and the black rail that goes all the way around the sides, it sneaks up on you a bit. It feels surprisingly distinct. I feel less like I'm holding an official Samsung product and more like one of those fan-made concepts, but in a good way. Not what I imagined a $170,000 cushion would feel like. I think I might have just scuffed it. Now, you might have heard of Harrods. They call themselves the world's leading luxury department store, and they built a bit of a reputation for selling things like a $160,000 golf putter, a $200,000 bottle of perfume, and a $1 million advent calendar. So, compared to that, this feels like a bit of a bargain. Inside this box is the $2,000 Harrods limited edition iPhone 5S. And given that there were literally 3 of these on the entire internet, and that the 5S is pretty much my favorite iPhone ever, I had to get this. It's a seriously heavy-duty wooden package. It even needs a key to open it, although this feels more like a gimmick than security. And here we have it. So on the left is what looks like a gold USB stick. Not the most inspired design, I gotta say, but then the phone itself. Yep. To be clear, I'm not a particularly showy person, so this whole idea of like sticking 1,000 Swarovski crystals on something and then plating the rest in 24 karat gold, it kind of horrifies me. But the level of precision here is blowing my mind. This whole idea that like every single crystal you see here has had to have been individually planned and implemented. Whether that's the 6 they've managed to fit onto the power button, the 4 they've got onto the alert slider, or the 65 carefully placed inside the Apple logo. And every single one has its own separate enclosure just to hold it in place. Also, just like the size of this thing. It's like a relic of the time when phones were actually usable in one hand. Right, we're in the top 5. Actually, just gonna bring this closer so I can look at it. Okay, imagine this. It's 2012. Samsung has just announced the Pebble-inspired Galaxy S3, Apple is readying their thinnest iPhone yet, and BlackBerry is getting slaughtered by the competition. So what they did is revamped their operating system, and as well as releasing their standard mainstream $700 Bold 9900, they also created a limited edition Porsche design version and called it the 9981. For some reason. It's definitely packaged like you've just dropped some serious dough on it. We've got the phone, which we'll get to, a custom charging stand. They've even got a Porsche-designed battery, manuals, a cleaning cloth. Below that are the more standard BlackBerry accessories, as well as, though, what looks like Porsche-designed earphones too. They didn't have to do that. That's a slick move. I will say this, there was a time in my life when I thought BlackBerry was the coolest thing in the world. But pretty much as soon as that first iPhone got announced, and I saw the value of touch-based apps and games, the whole appeal of BlackBerry just kind of disappeared. But if I was going to use one, this would have been it. The stainless steel body, the sharp lines, the leather bag, the laser-etched logo, the edge-to-edge keyboard. It all gives the impression of rugged engineering. This is one of the few phones that you could throw at a wall and worry about the wall. And now the room is open plan. It's just a shame that such high-end hardware was let down by really a laughable software solution. Now, after that package, I was kind of looking at this one, worth $2,450, thinking, really? This is the Alpha 1, and the only justification for its price is that it's Lamborghini branded. So this is not like an Oppo or a Huawei phone that's just licensed the Lamborghini name. This is being sold to people as the Lamborghini phone. But with that in mind, the one thing that it then needs to do for $2,500 is to convey luxury. And I don't think the packaging really does that. The cable is generic, the charger just has a logo slapped onto it, and while you do get a nice SIM ejector tool, I'm really not wowed. But then I realised why. Because on the face of it, yes, this is a really nice, premium, well-built, luxury car-branded phone. It's got a liquid alloy frame, which is highly resistant to stains and dents and scratches, this rather lovely circular power button, and some extremely plush stitched leather on the back, which just kind of makes sense here. It's a high-end material, and it also ties back into Lamborghini cars. But, depending how much time you spend watching tech videos, you might recognise this camera setup. Ah, yes, let me introduce you to the ZTE Axon 7, a phone which is spec for spec identical to this. And it's very clear that all Lamborghini have done is taken that and repurposed it. And that includes the packaging. ZTE's was the same, just a different colour. That feels pretty disingenuous to me. I actually think it's cool when companies make luxury high-end variants of their existing phones, but this one has purposefully distanced itself from the device it's based off to basically trick people. Like, I can imagine the majority of people who bought this probably thought they were paying for Lamborghini engineering, when they were actually paying for ZTE engineering with a bit of Lamborghini leather slapped on top. Right, now we're into the top three, and with a value of about $3,500, we have something that I don't think you can just hop online and order. So, you might know that Xiaomi's recently dropped their full flagship Mi 11 series of phones. This is meant to be a commemorative package for that. And so far so good, they've even created like a Xiaomi branded suitcase for it. Okay, let's get inside. This could be anything. Whoa. Okay, there's three phones here. The first one is the Mi 11 Lite, surprisingly affordable phone at like €299. Then got the Mi 11 Pro, all the way up at around €1,000, but for some reason this one isn't releasing globally. And then finally, the Mi 11 Ultra, which I've already done a full review about, but I believe this is a ceramic white model, which I haven't seen in person yet. But there's more. We've got a Mi Band 6, which is their latest activity tracker. I gotta say, while Xiaomi is up against strong competition in the phone market, these bands are one area that they've just killed it. Mostly because I think their competition wouldn't even want to enter this kind of price point. And then, this one's very curious, it's an 80-watt wireless charger, which is incredibly powerful, but what makes it strange is that Xiaomi doesn't make a phone that can charge with 80 watts wirelessly. And this 80-watt wireless charger comes with a 120-watt wired charger. But Xiaomi literally has one phone that can actually charge with 120 watts. So I think this whole package is less about immediate benefit, more like a future-proofing solution. The phones? Well, they all do share elements, like you can tell they're from the same lineup, but each one has its own character. The Mi 11 Lite is slim, and like its name suggests, light. But it also has a really fun finish that's kind of messing with me. The way it reflects light almost makes it look three-dimensional. And then as you get further up the lineup, the phones get more capable, but then also less experimental when it comes to looks. Like, I do definitely prefer this white Mi 11 Ultra over the black one that I was sent to review, but I do think it's a massive shame that all these Ultra phones, they play it so safe when it comes to colour. Okay, 2 phones to go, and now is where we really start cranking up that price dial. You've probably heard of Caviar. They've sent us a few interesting phones before, but this is what they're selling for $6,900. Nice. So they're calling this Apache. Not that kind of Apache. It's like a limited edition iPhone to apparently honor the indigenous people of America. But this is the first time I'm seeing it. I'm kind of nervous, slightly shaking, but it's exciting. Let's do it. Okay, I mean, it's just an iPhone so far. Let's see what it looks like. All right, here we go. That's crazy. So the bottom of this is it's like a leather type material. The top is Kieranite Black Pearl, which as far as I can see is a sort of highly durable acrylic. And then all of these gold parts are brass underneath with a 24 karat gold plating on top. I feel like if there's one word for this, it's meaty. Like, it's very clear, this is a showpiece. This is for someone who cares much more about the materials and the quantity of those materials on their phone than, say, how comfortable it is to hold. Would I personally use this? Probably not. Does it feel expensive and premium? Yeah. I think my favorite design so far is still that Titanic phone that I looked at about a year ago now. I really like this black and red theme. I think that's so premium. International warranty. And this is number 1 of 99. A normal Apple charger, AirPods, not AirPods, an Apple cable. But now it's time. It's time to see what a $170,000 phone looks like. That's enough money to buy 80 27-inch iMacs, 12 brand new Chevrolet Sparks, or, you know, a beachfront mansion in Nicaragua. It's so valuable that you can't even buy it in one go due to online banking restrictions on their end. It's so valuable that by the time you're seeing this video, it's already been escorted back to Russia where it came from. I do just want to quickly say though that for the first time ever, 50% of you watching my videos are subscribed. So thank you to everyone who has taken the time to do that, and for anyone who hasn't, a sub to the channel would be priceless. Okay, 6-digit lock on this. I really hope there's not a code. That would be a spanner in the works. Are we ready? Yes. Whew. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. Oh my god. So we have a Caviar limited edition gold business card. Jeffrey Preston Bezos. This like white and gold combination here, this looks amazing. Let's have a look what comes in the box first. We've got gold themed packaging on the accessories. Maybe we'll even get AirPods. So the cable is black cable, and then we've got a gold Caviar themed SIM ejector tool. Oh. Right, okay. Samsung Galaxy Buds, and they are literally just the standard black ones. We have a black Samsung themed charger, the gold collection, which I'm assuming is filled with a whole number of other stupidly expensive things, and finally, certificate of ownership. This feels like Thor's hammer trying to pick it up. Okay, don't judge me, it was 2 for 1. I mean, it makes me want to laugh and cry at the same time. So this is the gold phone. It is a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra paired with 1 kilogram of pure gold. I don't have any way of verifying those materials myself, but more importantly, who is this for? Because you probably noticed that whilst with past phones, for the sake of luxury and beautification, we've lost wireless charging, this time we've lost the cameras. Sorry that I have to say this, but fingerprint magnet? Not to mention that it literally weighs a kilogram, plus the weight of the phone's own internals. And here it is. Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra gold brick. In case you're wondering, this is what the camera looks like. Literal, just black, straight up. Weirdly, the selfie camera doesn't work either, but I guess if you can afford this, you can probably afford someone to take photos of you. I was curious, so I just looked up the price of a 1 kilogram block of gold. It's coming out at the equivalent of 55,000 US dollars, which is still crazy expensive, but it's not 170,000. I guess the main value add here is that Caviar apparently offers a swapping service. So 2 times for each customer, you can apparently tell them, I want to swap the phone's hardware to, it could be an S24, it could be like an S27 at that point.